During many years, Leonardo DiCaprio played some of Hollywood's most famous bachelors, models, parties, and Oscar winners. His life in public was loud. He was known by one name the whole time: Kate Winslet. From the Titanic on, they were clearly linked. Fans said it wasn't just friendship. They laughed, said no, and went on their way. After decades, DiCaprio has finally said it. And the news put an end to all the rumors. He had a true love that was never a fling. Kate was the person who helped him when no one else did. Why did you hide it for so long? Why hide the truth behind a wall of lies? Why is Leo finally ready to say what everyone has always thought after all these years? Leonardo DiCaprio was Hollywood's most popular single man for a long time. The newspapers made a whole business out of his picture, linking it to models, red carpets, and parties all the time. From the outside, he looked like a man who wasn't interested in making a commitment and was just floating from one exciting moment to the next. It looked like Kate Winslet's story was very different. She got married, had kids, went through a breakup, and rebuilt her life outside of fame. Kate was photographed on her way to and from school, while Leo was taken on yachts. He leaned into unknown. She leaned toward being honest. But no matter how different they looked in public, they were always connected in one way: they were each other. From Titanic on, their relationship lasted longer than any news story. When they saw each other again, like on the red carpet or at an award show, they felt at ease. They got close, whispered jokes to each other, and laughed like they knew each other better than anyone else. Fans took notice. Some people said it was just friendship. Some people were sure it was more than that. Even when they both denied dating, what they said only made people think they were. Kate said that Leo was someone she could always count on. Leo said she was the only one who could keep him off the streets. A lot of people thought it sounded less like a Hollywood bond and more like a close friendship that lasts a lifetime. And this is where the contradiction is. People saw DiCaprio as a man who didn't want to make permanent connections. But his secret truth told a different story. Kate Winslet was there through all of it. Every rise and fall, rumor and award. She was the only thing that never changed in his life. Not a fling or a phase. Many people thought that James Cameron's 1997 movie would fail before it even started. Titanic was one of the most expensive shows ever put on. And since so much was riding on its success, every hiring choice had a huge impact. As Jack and Rose, the young lovers who are doomed to both love and disaster. Cameron wanted actors who could not only take charge of the screen, but also have chemistry with each other that would make everyone believe them. Leo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet walk in. Leo was 22 years old and already famous for roles in Romeo and Juliet and What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Even though his star was growing quickly, he wasn't yet the famous person all over the world that he would become. Kate was only 21 years old when she became famous for her roles in period plays. She was almost famous all over the world. Both were smart, driven, and had never worked on a job this big before. When they met for the first time during practice, they had a lot of excitement. Later, crew members talked about how quickly they got used to each other, how easy it was to tease each other, and how at ease they were with each other. It made Cameron feel better. They looked like Jack and Rose to him, but they were also like them in spirit. The camera didn't have to get close to the subject. It only caught what was already there. As soon as shooting started, the bond got stronger. The process was very hard. A lot of hard physical work, long hours in water tanks that were freezing, and constant pressure from the studio. A lot of young artists would have given up, but Kate and Leo lent on each other. To lighten the mood, they made up inside jokes and protected each other from the toughest demands. Over time, they became an unbreakable team. The two groups worked together through tough times and stayed together for decades. It was felt by the audience. When Titanic came out, the relationship between Jack and Rose was so real that it went beyond the screen. People didn't just see two artists acting out a love story. They saw two people who seemed to be really linked. That way Kate looked at Leo, that way he reached out and grabbed her hand, and that way they laughed together. Everything seemed too real to be fake. People started to wonder if Jack and Rose were still alive after they left the ship. The movie broke box office records and won 11 Academy Awards, making it a worldwide hit. But more than the praise, it made a picture that will last. People will always remember Leo and Kate standing at the bow of the ship with their arms spread against the wind. They were the perfect example of young love. After that, their names would always be tied. For the players, what happened next was both exciting and overwhelming. In the public eye, they were seen as romantic heroes. In secret, though, they clung to each other like friends. Fame can make you feel alone, especially when it comes quickly and on a large scale. But Leo and Kate were together. They got through the whirlwind together, and neither fame nor distance could break their friendship. When asked about dating, they laughed off questions in interviews and said they were just close friends. But their claims only made people think more. Fans couldn't understand how the passion they saw on TV could leave when the cameras cut away. For them, Leo and Kate were like Jack and Rose. Fate brought them together, but kept them apart. They didn't just work together on Titanic. They built a friendship. It was the base of something much more important. Every year, the bond would get stronger, more complicated, and more important. It was the start of everything. The link they made on that set would shape their lives for the rest of time, even if no one else knew it yet. Many people thought that Leo and Kate's relationship would end with the credits when Titanic finished. A lot of the time, friendships in Hollywood get stronger while the cameras are running and weaken when they're done. Theirs was different, though. If anything, the end of shooting was the start of something stronger. A bond that would not break, that would carry them through the most important years of their lives. Both had very busy times in the early 2000s. Leo's fame grew with films like The Beach and Catch Me If You Can. As his long-term work with Martin Scorsese started, he took on more mature and important roles. The press never stopped writing about him, and they were mostly interested in his love life. Kate, on the other hand, married director Sam Mendes and became a mother. She also did well in Iris and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, getting praise from critics for both roles. Their paths seemed to go in different directions, but they were still connected in secret. Someone once told Kate that Leo was the person she could call at any time, no matter what the time or where she was. You didn't just trust them out of kindness. It was shown over and over. When Kate got mean comments about her body image, Leo stood up for her and said that the harsh comments were just part of working in a field where looks were often more important than ability. When Leo was upset that he wasn't nominated for an Oscar, Kate was there to tell him of how great he was by calling him one of the best actors of their time. Award shows were where their bond was most clear. Fans noticed how easily they leaned toward each other in crowded rooms, ignoring the cameras as they whispered jokes or gave each other knowing looks. When Kate won the Golden Globe for Revolutionary Road, she thanked Leo with tears in her eyes and said he was her best friend in the world. Not because they were scandalous, but because they were true. Her words made the news. They didn't practice it. It wasn't finished well. It was true. It was rare for Leo to feel that way. People all around him often wanted something from him. Kate stood out in terms of fame, money, and access. He didn't have to be anyone else for her. Their lives went in different paths. But every time they got back in touch, it was like no time had passed. It's not common for people to be that consistent in Hollywood, where bonds end because of distance, ego, or competition. Fans never stopped guessing, of course. Every time they showed up together, rumors of a secret romance spread. Even though they both denied it, the fact that they were so close made it hard to rule out the idea completely. Was it really just a friendship? Or was there something more important? A deep connection that didn't fit any labels. Many people were surprised that Kate and Leo never spoke badly about each other, even after they got married and Leo was constantly in the news for dating. This wasn't a friendship for the sake of ease or fame. Fire shaped it, and years of private funding made it stronger. Even though Kate and Minda's marriage ended, Leo was there with her in silence. Kate was in the crowd in 2016 when Leo finally won his long-awaited Oscar. She cheered for him with tears running down her face. The cameras got the moment, but the truth didn't need any explanation. The look on their faces, her pride, his thanks, showed how close they had always been. It wasn't short-lived emotion that held them together. Their relationship was based on romance, trust, loyalty, and time. Others in Hollywood came and went, but Leo and Kate stayed. It got harder to believe that they were just friends as the years went by. Many people thought it was impossible for two people to have such a strong bond without love at its core. Because if Kate was always there for Leo, if she was the one who stood up for him, praised him, and held him back, then maybe friendship was never the whole story. The link that couldn't be broken might have always been more than that. Fans have had one question about Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet for decades, even though they were very close. Why didn't they ever get together if their love was so strong? Not because they don't care, but because of how cruel time can be. When Titanic came out in late 1997, it made both of them famous all over the world very quickly. They were connected by the experience they had in common, but their personal lives were going in different ways. Kate, who was only 22, quickly fell in love with director Jim Threppleton. They got married in 1998 and had their first child a few years later. Even as her career grew, she made her family her top concern. Leo, on the other hand, was sucked into the Hollywood machine. His life was full of press tours, blockbusters, and a string of very famous relationships. They were just in different stages of life. It would happen again and again in the years that followed. Kate got married to Thrive, and then to the famous director Sam Mendes. But critics kept saying that Leo was impossible to get close to. He had a lot of interesting women in his personal life. But behind those flashy titles, Kate stayed as constant. When her name was in the news, so was his. Often, it was in pictures of the two of them together, like when they were at openings or awards shows, smiling in private. The public's view became clear. No matter how many names were around Leo, Kate was the only one who really stood the test of time. But the time never seemed right. Leo wasn't married when Kate was. When Leo was ready to make a long-term commitment, Kate had to take care of her family. Even when they got back together for the 2008 movie Revolutionary Road, which was about the painful end of a marriage, they both claimed that their relationship was only friendly. But seeing them together on TV told a different story. People watching them wondered where the acting stopped and the truth began because their performances seemed so real. Fans made a lot of guesses. The same theme kept coming up in social media threads and entertainment articles. Leo and Kate would have been together if they had met at the right time. Their story was spooked by the thought of the one that got away. Some said that the fact that they wouldn't get romantic was what kept their friendship strong, saying that love affairs end, but friendships last. Others thought the opposite, that they had missed their best chance at happiness by never telling each other what was really going on between them. It's clear that both of them understood how important their relationship was, even if they didn't call it love. Kate told Leo that he was her rock and that he would never judge her or leave her. It was the same thing Leo said. He often told reporters that Kate was like family to him. Fans felt more than friendship in those words, though. In the way they looked at each other, and the way their voices got softer when they called each other by name. It wasn't a language of ease, but one of closeness. But greatness doesn't happen very often in real life. Jobs, marriages, kids, and living far away all cause problems that timing never seemed ready to solve. The tie stayed strong though. If anything, the missed chances made the puzzle deeper. What if things were different, if they had told each other how they felt sooner? Or did they really love each other, but kept quiet, because that was the only way to keep what they had? In the end, Leo and Kate's story wasn't about not having love. It was about love that was in between friendship and romance, and was always just out of reach. What kept them apart more than anything else was the time. That scary truth is what made Leo's statement so powerful in the end. When he finally said who the real love of his life was, it wasn't a stranger or a short-lived flame. That woman had been there the whole time. Even though they could never be together because of the time it was. For many years, fans couldn't wait for Leonardo DiCaprio to say what they were sure were true. That he loved Kate Winslet, and that she was more than just a friend. Still, those words never came. Instead, a different statement came out over time. It was hidden in the way he talked about her, and the way she talked about him. Leo often said that Kate was his rock, and that she kept him grounded in a field that could be very chaotic. He stated that she was the one person he could always count on, no matter how well he did or how much attention he got. What did Kate say? She called him her best friend, her safe place, and the person who never judged her. People thought these words were important. They didn't sound like friendly words. Instead, they were like the words of soulmates. Fans held to these glimpses. They said it was because Kate's eyes filled with tears when Leo finally won his Oscar in 2016, or because he whispered words of support to her during emotional award speeches. They played back red carpet reunions where the two laughed and leaned on each other like they had been together forever. And even though Leo never went so far as to say he loved her, their deeds said something very clear. A lot of people saw the lack of a statement as its own kind of truth. Maybe Leo and Kate's relationship was too precious to label, and too weak to let the public's wild guesses hurt it. They kept what they had by not letting in more people. Not a statement of love, but of a love that would last, a love that didn't need to be named to be real. This is usually what people mean when they say Leonardo DiCaprio finally admitted it. He never tried to hide how much he loved Kate Winslet. It was clear in every look, every moment of public support, and every tear shed for each other's wins and losses. Leo accepted the truth in his own way, but it wasn't the confession fans had hoped for. It was the confession they got, which was that some relationships are deeper than romance. Not a dramatic reveal or a secret romance is what makes Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet's story last. It's the legacy they built together through Jack and Rose. Titanic was more than just a movie. For a whole generation, it became an important part of their culture. At its heart was a love story that was so real and memorable that fans never stopped thinking it was based on real events. Leo and Kate were remembered for a long time after the cameras stopped rolling because of Jack and Rose. Every time the figures got together, fans saw them come back to life. In the natural warmth between the two actors, not in the lines they say or the scenes they act out. The bow of the ship, the cold water, and the last goodbye all came to represent something bigger, a link that wouldn't break. Leo's lack of talk about love did not hurt this heritage. By keeping their bond out of the news, it may have even grown stronger. He and Kate let the people in the room project their own hopes and dreams for the one that got away. The puzzle really made the story stand out. Kate's gift was trust. She often said that Leo was the person who made her strong when she felt unsafe. For Leo, it was a matter of duty. He said that Kate was like family, and that she was always there for him, even through marriages, divorces, and the constant attention of fame. They changed what partnerships in Hollywood could look like when they worked together. Built on mutual respect and lasting decades, it has never been involved in a scandal. This past makes Titanic feel more complete every time people watch it again. How painful it was for Rose to say goodbye, how desperate Jack was to make a sacrifice, and how much love was still unfinished. All of it is like how Leo and Kate's relationship really is. In private, they loved each other deeply, not in public like a romance, and their love was strong enough to last a lifetime. That's what Jack and Rose really left behind. It's not about whether they ever became romantically involved. It has to do with what their story means. Love in all its forms, whether it's said or not said, experienced or imagined. A lot of fans think the heritage is easy to understand. Leo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet made a love story come to life on screen. They showed through their friendship that the strongest love is sometimes the kind that doesn't need to be told. Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet have been in one of Hollywood's most lasting stories for more than 25 years. Not by falling in love, but by being loyal. In a world where news stories change quickly, they were always there for each other, trusting, caring, and not affected by time. For a long time, people wanted the fairy tale to come true and Jack and Rose to live outside of movies. What Leo and Kate gave instead, though, was more rare. A friendship that was so strong that it became something bigger. He called her his base. He was her best friend, she said. Only the quiet truth of two lives tied together, no big admissions. That's how Titanic turned into more than a movie. Like a window into their own story, each time they watch it again. It was a love that never had a name and never went away. Because Leonardo DiCaprio wasn't defined by the parties, the news stories, or the short-lived relationships. The one who stayed was Kate Winslet. They will always love each other, even though they may never say it. Check out this for more sad stories.